inside this I want you to imagine how you think this drives.
Do some reorg.
No, you're wrong. It's far more terrifying than that. To demonstrate, I'm just going to take you on a drive with me. He's in drive. Pedals are engaged now. Just start moving forward. That's 10 miles an hour. 20, 25, 30. Twike, the company, was formed in Switzerland in 1992, but the story of Twike goes back to 1986, when the first Twike was built by a group of Swiss students for the World Expo in Vancouver. That first Twike, while it looked similar to this one, was basically just a covered tricycle. Didn't have a motor, and it was just a one-off prototype thing. The Twike 2 came about 5 years later in 1991. It did have a motor to assist with your pathetic pedaling. Interestingly, the pedaling in the Twike 2 was done through a belt-drive CVT. The Twike 2, like the original Twike, was also just a one-off prototype thing, but it was built to develop the concept into something more daily usable and to gather interest from investors. In 1992, the company Twike was formed, and in 1995, they finally began producing a Twike for people to buy, the Twike 3. This is the Twike 3. And look, I understand why it's called the 3, but don't you think it's a little confusing this is Twike's first model? The Twike originated from and was originally built in Switzerland. In '98, a German arm was set up, and in 2002, production moved completely to Germany, where they are still produced to this day in Rosenthal, Germany. Because mine is a '98 model, that means mine was built in Switzerland, I think. And by the way, if you're wondering, twin bike in German would be Zwillingsrad. Twike is a silly name, but I prefer it to Zwillingsrad. Oh, and by the way, this is fully street legal, not as a low-speed vehicle, as a regular auto cycle, according to the state of Missouri. Peak power is 9 kilowatts, that's 12 horsepower, although nominal power is only 3 kilowatts, 4 horsepower, which isn't a lot, but also you can pedal it. And my feet are slightly too big for the pedals. Twike claims an averagely trained rider can input 100 to 200 watts through your meat sticks. That number sounds high to me, but let's just go with it. If the motor is outputting its full 9 kilowatts and you're adding 200 watts through the pedals, you're contributing 2%. Pedaling the Twike is a bit like being a toddler and helping your mom bake a cake. You feel like you're helping. Granted, that motor is rarely, if ever, going to output the full 9 kilowatts. So you're generally going to be making a bigger difference than just 2%, but not by much. The main reason this has pedals isn't so you can add range to the thing. It's to give you exercise. And it does that very well. And as I found out the first time I took this out on a public road, you get cardio not just from the pedals, but also from the imminent fear of death. Hello, this video is sponsored by Factor. Because the Twike is the Twike, I've dragged it out here to what cannot inaccurately be described as the middle of nowhere, so I don't have to battle things like traffic or other people. And to show you just how remote this location is, we're going to have a street picnic. Factor meals are never frozen and delivered straight to your door in a refrigerated box. All you have to do is pick your meal, in my case, urban crusted chicken, stab the film to vent it, and microwave for 2 minutes. As I always say, these Factor meals are delicious, and my favorite are the chicken breast meals, which I don't know how they mass produce chicken breast meals, have them be cooked in the microwave, and have them come out better than I could do it myself, but they do, and it's almost magical. This urban crusted chicken is some of my favorite. There's no road traffic right now, but there is a plane flying directly overhead. You can probably hear it. Anyway, if you want to try Factor for yourself, and I highly recommend you do, go to Factor75.com and use code AGINGWHEELS50 at checkout for 50% off your first box. You won't regret it. The controls in the Twike are not like anything you've ever seen before. Unless you've seen another Twike, obviously. Steering is done with this tiller in between the two seats. And you can change the amount of steering resistance through this adjusted damper right here in the front of the Twike. That's all the way loose, which is not how I prefer it. The previous owner told me that the steering can get a little light and twitchy at high speeds. He lied to me. It's light and twitchy at every speed. This is the single most terrifying part of the Twike. Look at this. I'm barely moving the steering input. I feel like a sneeze could end my life right now. At the base of the steering tiller is a steering lock for security, I guess. This rocker switch on the back of the steering tiller is how you activate the stupid-sounding blinkers. On the front of the tiller are these two buttons. This is your throttle, and this is your regen braking, and yes, it has regenerative braking. The regen is really good, too. Step 1, step 2, and it can bring it to a full stop. Each one of these buttons is a two-step button, much like the shutter button on a camera. That's all the granularity you get with your throttle and regen controls. It has cruise control. To engage cruise control, you just double-tap the throttle button, and cruise control is engaged. What's funny about this to me is that it has a two-step throttle. You have low and high, that's it. The cruise control is the only way to get an infinitely variable throttle, and the steering is still way too twitchy for me to let go of it. Good God. To my left is the parking brake. Up is off, down is on. You're meant to hold on to these two inputs while you're driving the thing. There's 3 switches on the back of this: brights, wipers, and horn. Here's the horn. Oh God. Is it in here with me? And on the side of this handle is the shifter for the 5-speed bicycle gearbox. You likely heard the clicking as I'm driving this thing along. That's the braking pawl. To activate the brakes in the Twike, you backpedal like a children's bike. When you pedal backwards, you engage the braking pawl, which pushes on the brake master cylinder. It has regular hydraulic brakes, just an unusual way to use them. The front brake is a disc, and the 2 rear brakes are tiny little drum brakes. And then in the middle, there's the gauge pot. At the top is your speedometer. It's just a row of LEDs with increments of 5 miles per hour. Not very granular, but there's a secondary digital speed readout in the screen below. And yes, it is in miles per hour. I know it says kilometers per hour, but the sticker is missing. Below that are various lights that indicate various things and 5 switches. They are power, window defrost. Yes, it has a window defrost. A bit more on that in a bit. Hazard lights, fog lights, which are rear-only fog lights, and your headlight switch. And at the bottom is the Twike's trip computer. It shows you various things like battery temperature, voltage, current draw, amount, your digital speed. I believe it can show you consumption, but I haven't been able to figure that one out yet. And I haven't played with it too much, but there's a few things that I do know that I'd like to point out. The reverse and forward membrane buttons at the top of the screen don't do anything. When you turn it on, it says welcome, Twike 3. And when you turn it off, it says bye-bye. How cute. In the middle between the seats is the drive direction selector lever. This is drive, this is neutral, and this is reverse. Drive is, well, drive. Neutral disengages the pedals, but you can still drive the Twike forward using the motor, and reverse is, well, reverse. Just ahead of that is the emergency stop switch. This doesn't isolate the high voltage system like you would think. That key that's down there that you can't really see did that job, but I've since disabled that key because it didn't work reliably, and that's something you need from a high voltage disconnect button. Oh yeah, feel it burn! I do mean it, it burns! These are the Twike seats, very basic. They sit in kind of a reclined position. They tilt forward and they sit on a rail so you can slide them forward and backward. And to adjust the height, you pivot this asymmetric machine plastic block the seat sits on. That's your height adjustment. By the way, this lovely mahogany shelf in the back, that's not a factory Twike piece. From factory, there's a plastic piece of garbage that sits back here. I made this and frankly overdid it. Also not factory is that charger. That's something I added as well. In the back,
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
Biolage hypersource, microdosed, so it always gives my hair exactly what it needs.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
back we have, well, the back. This rear window is glued in. I know it might look like there's some sort of